Greetings to everyone world over. Green morning, green afternoon, green evening. A very warm welcome to all our brothers and sisters across the world from different countries, from different continents, in the different time zones, in different conditions, wherever you are. We extend you a very, very warm welcome this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, it's a very privileged, a proud moment for all of us this morning. We have got two of the distinguished guests this morning with us. We have got Guru Srimati Kanaka Sudhakarji, the founder president, Sunaina, director, Nritya Bharati, and Acharya Aprajita Sarma, Bharatanatyam dancer and a choreographer. We extend them a very warm welcome with Apurva Mahajan, who is going to introduce both the dignitaries. But before that, some of us, as you join for the first time this particular program, and some of us, we have come a long way in this journey. Right during this pandemic, on 25th of March, we started basically making education relevant, teachers and youth empowerment program. And today is 557th webinar which we are holding and we are organizing for all our brothers and sisters across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, which is for the non-resident Indian and Indian corporate and the government interface, what we have got, there are 31 million NRIs overseas in different countries world over what we have. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we also share our chamber long time back gave 12 champion sectors, which Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India gave a green signal and a wonderful, and these are listed right over here, which we talk in education services are also the integral part. Today is 11th of January. Just 2 days back, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, inaugurated Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. That was 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention. That is on 9th of January 2021. And he had one agenda to make India self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And the curtain raiser for this particular program started right from 8th of December onward, and we came long way, and that is basically going on. And this is right over here. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and Ramnath Kovind ji, the Honorable President of India, will deliver the valedictory address, and Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, along with Shri V. Muralidharan ji, Minister of State for External Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, together Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. And down below, if you see, the Honorable Prime Minister included in his plenary session two roles he talked about: role of diaspora in Atmanirbhar Bharat, and number two, facing post-COVID challenges, scenarios in health, economy, social, and international relations. Ladies and gentlemen, similar way, our chamber started right in 1994, Punjabi Parvasi Divas. Parvasi Bharati Divas came in 2003, but this journey started long time back, and this is going to be the 27th Punjabi Parvasi Divas, that is after 2 days. That is on 13th of January. That's a Lodi festival. And I know in southern part of India also, there is a Pongal festival, which we celebrate in a great way. We all enjoy, and that's the beginning of the new year. Now, international virtual conference will take place day after tomorrow on 13th of January. And can you imagine? It is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's a 12-hour non-stop deliberation, celebration, congratulations, whatsoever we can talk about and we can think of, we are going to have it. And here is the complete details of the program, which we are carrying out till 9:45 p.m. in the morning. Now, when we look at the pandemic, when we look at the world has passed through in 2020 through very difficult times. And when we talk about these difficult times, this coronavirus and this pandemic, every time there were efforts how to keep people positive, how to keep children positive, energetic. They should not have anxiety, they should not have stress, they should not have depression, and a couple of things. And that's why today we are going to talk about dance and music. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the dopamine, what we talk about, we'll discuss in a little while. In the thick and in the middle of the pandemic, in the coronavirus, there was a new education policy which was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister along with the Education Minister of India, and that is on 29th of July at 4 p.m. in the evening. And this new education policy is a game changer. Asha Bhosle ji giving a call to the government of India, and she says, I would like to congratulate. Asha Bhosle ji is the playback singer, and she conveying over there that I'm so very happy that the new education policy now, the science subject, science students, they can take music, and commerce student, they can take fashion designing, so many things. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is the agenda of the Honorable Prime Minister of India. When we talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, ICSI, we during the pandemic have been having a long beaming and streaming from morning till evening, 12 hours non-commercial venture, complimentary 12 hours. And can you imagine now also how we started and what exactly we have done with 557 programs? Great. I wish to share with you. Early in the morning, when it is 4 o'clock in India, it is about 10:30 a.m. in Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. So starting early in the morning, right from Australia, Fiji, New Zealand, coming from there to ASEAN, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, and going from there to the Middle East. Wow, that's going to Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Kuwait, Oman, and coming to Doha, Qatar. Wow, great. And from there going to Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and then from there taking a turn and coming to Asia. And when you come to South Asia, we are moving in Afghanistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and then of course beautiful Bharat, हमारा प्यारा भारत. और उसके बाद going to Mauritius, going to Seychelles, going to Africa, and in the evening going to entire European Union, and then moving to America, then to Canada, then to Latin America, and right from Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Brazil, and Argentina, Chile, Costa Rica, Venezuela. Wow, all the countries, and world over beaming. We are so very happy that today the soft skills and the life skills are very, very important for all of us. We would be more than happy. Our chamber would be more than happy. Any school, any college, any university, whether government or private, if you want to have incubation center, we would get you the money. You are interested to set up a finishing lab for the soft skill and life skill, we would help you. You want to set up Atal Tinkering Lab, we would support you, we would help you. There are so many ways. And here is the beautiful programs. What you see, can you imagine? Our chamber is organizing about 30 webinars per week. 30 webinars per week. On the average, you can take it how many webinars we are having per day. A day starts with the webinar, and here flows a wonderful water, because the next crisis world over is going to be on the water shortage, drinkable water. And if I share with you, you'll be surprised to know Bangalore, Chennai, and entire state of Punjab, and there are a couple of other places, they are going to have lots of challenges if water is not being saved. It's very, very important. Youth empowerment is very important. Teachers empowerment is very important. Education got to be relevant to my day-to-day life. And water conservation, once again, if I am having education, जल है तो जीवन है, जल संरक्षण बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. एंड ये कैसे शुरू होगा? मेरे घर से शुरू होगा, मेरी गृहिणी से शुरू होगा, my wife, my daughter, my granddaughter, my teacher, and at the same time, women folk, they play very important role. Right from my kitchen, I got to save every drop of the water. and organic farming. Can you believe it? This is my rooftop. ये मेरे घर की छत है. I'm growing my own vegetables and it's a beautiful organic farming. I'm having such a beautiful fragrance, and at the age of 72, my energy that is flowing of 20-year-old boy, it's all because of my lifestyle. No drinks, total vegetarian, organic farming, organic eating, positive thinking, all the time positive, positive, and positive. Health and wellness is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, startup, entrepreneurship, micro, small, and medium enterprise is very important. And food and your herbal and your digital education all got to be taken into the consideration. Very important. Sustainable development. And when you talk about B2B, it is no more business to business, it's back to basics of life. And this evening we are starting a new series. हमारे पूरे जीवन की कला, जैसे कहते हैं 16 कला संपूर्ण, और कुछ 64 कलाओं की भी बात करते हैं. ओवर हियर 16 संस्कार भी होते हैं जीवन के, गर्भाधान से लेकर अंत्येष्टि तक. जब आपका जीवन शुरू होता है और जब ये जीवन समाप्त होता है और आत्मा निकलती और जाती है, इस पूरे कार्यक्रम में 16 संस्कार हैं. The new series is starting today at 7 p.m. in the evening. Don't forget to join us, where Professor Prabhu Narayan Mishra ji is going to talk to us all. And tomorrow is a very important day. Tomorrow is the birthday of Swami Vivekanand ji. Remember, about 11th of September 1893, 127 years back, a gentleman right in Chicago. And when he got up on the podium and when he used the first sentence, people came on the edge of their chairs and they stood up and they started clapping for him. It was none other than Swami Vivekanand ji when he used the first sentence. Sisters and brothers of the universe. That was the opening remarks, ladies and gentlemen. From there he started. So tomorrow on the National Youth Day, which is being celebrated, and we are going to have a deliberation channelizing youth power for the nation building. Tomorrow there's a special talk at 2 o'clock. Our chamber strongly believes whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Nothing is impossible on this planet. You can achieve anything. We have been joined today, and I would request now Apurva Mahajan, kindly read it out. Now it's your turn, child. You got to introduce Guruma. Yes.
Suprabhatam, Suprabhatam. A very warm welcome to everyone who has joined here. So sometimes in our life we meet people who, impact us as an individual and change our lives for the better. Guru Kanaka Sudhakar, I had trained under her for 9 to 10 years, and she has impacted my life in every sphere, emotionally, mentally, physically, as well as spiritually, because dance as an art form, it empowers you as an individual, and it touches all the spheres of life. Even today, when I'm not currently in practice, but still whenever I have a lot of stress, the COVID epidemic, we see a lot of depression and everything. Dance helps me focus. It brings as you said, it brings a lot of pleasure to my life. And I thought, why not share this with everyone globally, because the benefits of classical dance form should reach each and every individual. So we have together with us Guru Srimati Kanaka Sudhakar and her daughter Acharya Prajita Sharma, and together they have worked in the field of empowering the youth, empowering women, empowering everyone who through their dance form. So about I'll just try introduce both the panelists. So Kanaka Sudhakar ma'am, she is a legend in herself, and she has been a disciple of the legendary Dhananjayans. And then she started merging the two fields of her scientific bent of mind in science and her profession and passion for dance. And she brought up this thesis on therapeutic benefits of Indian classical dance form. And after her research, she established Sunena in 1994, and there they work for inculcating the cultures of India through their dance form and into the education system. So this has been, carried forward by her capable daughter, and as a, individual, she choreographs a lot of dance dramas which, spread social messages, socially relevant messages across the world. She's traveled worldwide and, spread the fragrance of Indian classical dance form. So I'm just so happy to have both of them together here on this global platform. Uh, Before we start, uh, namaskar to all of you. And I'll just start with Guru Kanaka Sudhakar. I want her to introduce what inspired her to take, research in this field, and what are the benefits she sees for Indian students or for any student to learn Indian classical dance.
Thank you, Apurva.
Over to
Thank
you.
you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, right over here, the script before you, which goes on the YouTube, we have got Guru Srimati Kanaka Sudhakarji. She's a Bharatanatyam artist and a mentor, a researcher, a teacher, a social worker, a writer, and a storyteller. Her lifelong work has been for Sunaina Society for the upliftment of the national arts of India, where she has been dedicatedly working towards Indian education, culture, and heritage for the past 3 decades. We have also got this morning with us Acharya Aprajita Sarma, a Bharatanatyam dancer and a choreographer. She's a performing artist and has been practicing Bharatanatyam for the past 25 years. Oh my God. She works towards promotion of her art form by teaching, performing, and choreographing. She has toured more than 15 countries with her art form. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome to all the three ladies over here, the anchor also, Guruma also, and Aprajita also. मुझे तो अपराजिता का एज ही 25 नहीं लग रहा है, तो ये 25 कैसे 25 years she had been dancing. Okay, because she has maintained, and ladies and gentlemen, all of us, you should remember, if you want to remain fit physically, mentally, you should enjoy dance. That is something very important. When I heard Madam's Sunaina Society, I immediately remembered Yashodas ji from Kerala. Now you would say, how you remembered Yashodas ji? Because this program is basically on dance. Dance and music are inseparable, ladies and gentlemen. There was a beautiful song by Yashodas, Sunaina आज इन नजारों को तुम देखो और मैं तुम्हें देखता ही रहूं. That was Yashodas from down south Kerala. Wonderful. So ladies and gentlemen, let's extend a very warm welcome to all three of them. And Apurva, you have already done namaskar. You have already introduced to both of them. Now it's a turn. Let's get to Guruma and let her share her vision. But it is her choice if she wants Aprajita to speak first. From my side, I hand you over to the global family, all our non-resident Indian brothers and sisters world over. And it is not going to be theoretical. There has to be a small performance also. Unless you don't show, how will we come to know? That is something very important that you know, and you are going to, otherwise I'm going to dance on Bharatanatyam. There is no problem because Kamla Hassan ji can also dance. And I still remember that movie called Sadma. Yes. Okay. So with these words, hearty welcome to all of you. And let's start the day. Who would like to take on the lead? And from there we take on. Hearty welcome and pleasure to have all of you. Thank you very much. And it is Bale Bale is going to be in Tamil. Yes, let's go to Bharatanatyam. Music, dance. Who is going to take on the lead?
Ma'am, Guru Kanaka Sudhakar.
Okay.
Ma'am, please.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for such inspiring and positive introduction to this beautiful webinar, global webinar, and I'm very happy that I've got this opportunity to share my work, my vision, and whatever I have been doing for these past 3 decades. Well, what gave me the inspiration, as Apurva asked me, my father was in the External Affairs Ministry, and we were traveling. Basically, we were living abroad only. And when I and in schools of wherever we are, like Russia, Yugoslavia, classical dance, that Russian ballet, gymnastics, they were all part and parcel of school education. We never had to go anywhere else outside. And when I came to India, I saw that there are so many dance forms here because I'm very passionate about dancing. Here I saw that people had to go out, that they have to go out of that school and they have to learn somewhere special. They have to pay somewhere and learn somewhere special. So then I also saw that Indian classical dances are so vibrant. And when I see older ladies, older artists like Brij Maharaj ji, Vaijayanti Mala ji, as he said, so many artists are there in the older category who are so vibrant, who are so full of energy, creative mentality. And so then I said, why in India, classical dances of India are not part of school education? Why is it so there's only academics in the schools? This was way in 1984 and those times. So at that time, my father, where I got the family in which I got married, my father-in-law was Dr. L. Ramachandran. So he was a nature curist and belonging to a whole lot of nature cure family. So I learned a lot about how the body is a self-healing, the body self-healing process. The body has to be just helped to keep healthy. It does not have to be fed medicines and all. So the body has got a natural power to heal itself and to keep healthy and to keep fit. So I learned all about the principles of natural health, natural living from him, from Dr. L. Ramachandran. And then my mind started working. Why the classical dances of India are not part of school education? So I have to bring out as an artist, and because of my paramedical background in pharmacy, so I should do something in order to bring out the therapeutic effects of the beneficial effects. So I started my study. It was a 7-year long study, and in that. I first started with the muscular system. In classical dance, if we see all the classical dances, Kathak, Odissi, Bharatnatyam, Manipuri, then we have Kuchipudi. In all of them, you will see there is a complete use of the body. So the complete use, like when children go to school, mostly they are stationary. They become maybe obese. They get so many diseases that are really related to stationary living. They just go to school. In these days, they go by some vehicle. They don't even walk to school. They go by some vehicle and they sit and then they come back. Then they're on the sofa. Then they're in front of the computer and whatever. They're very stationary type of life, which is a very unnatural way of living. Dance is a natural vent for the instinct of play. There is an instinct of play in the body, and dance gives vent to this instinct. So then I went into the Shastra. That is, our Shastras have divided the body into the Ang, Upang, and Pratyang. That is, the major body parts, the minor body parts, and the subsidiary body parts. In classical dance, if you see the Abhinay Darpanam, the Shastras, every single use of the body, including the eyebrows, the eyelids, the pupils, even the cheeks, even the small parts, the hand, the fingers, every single part of the body is used in doing classical dance. So that's why they have already divided the body into Ang, Upang, and Pratyang. So I went into the skeletal system. What are the degenerative diseases that go into the skeletal or that come in the musculoskeletal system? And I gave the names muscular trigger and simultaneous symmetric movement system. ये क्या होता है that when we use a muscle, it triggers the working of the internal organs. So जैसे हम लोग एक उंगली भी हिलाते हैं, when we move even one finger, then आपका जो है ना heart हो या circulation हो, it is stimulated. So when we move so many parts of the body at the same time, so there is an example of an item called Alaripu in Bharatnatyam. This is only a 3.5 minute item that even a 7, 8 year old child can do. And in that one small Alaripu, 396 movements are there, involving the eyes, the hands, the neck, the simultaneously. Because why so many movements in the smallest time? Because they are done simultaneously. Simultaneously, the body parts are moved and symmetrically. Matlab, whatever is done on the right is immediately repeated on the left. So this type of a simultaneous symmetric movement system that is very special to Indian classical dance is found in all the Indian classical dance forms. Excuse me. Nazreen, कुछ मत करो. Sorry. So that made me study how we can use this Indian classical dance forms as a therapeutic system. The muscular system is directly connected to the nervous system. When it comes to the nervous system, the brain and the peripheral nervous system, every single muscle is innervated by a nerve. Just like when you say like a battery and a bulb. A battery is useless without a bulb to light, and a bulb cannot work without a battery. Like that, the muscle and the nervous system. Indian classical dances are endowed with a total work for the nervous system, demand on the nervous system. What is the demand that the classical dancers puts on the nervous system? So there are many. Number one, when a child starts to learn this simultaneous symmetric movement system, which is a perfect muscular trigger, there are certain sounds, certain syllables that the child has to listen and immediately they have to respond. The sound, the bowl, that's it. When you say tak dim, it's very simple. The very first exercise, this keeping the hand like this, both hands, this is only an exercise. It is not even a part of the adavus, the steps. Tak dimmi, tak dimmi, tak dimmi, tak dimmi, tak dimmi, tak dim, tak dim, tak dim, tak dim. So the eye-hand coordination, whichever hand is showing the Ala Padma, the eye moves towards that. This is a very, very therapeutic movement. Number one hand is showing some other mudra and the other hand is showing some other mudra. And number two, the sound of takkadimi. Takkadimi, and number three, responding to three speeds. So this type of thing that may look so easy for the audience is actually taking a lot of demand on the nervous system. Number two, not only the speeds, the nervous system has to respond to the lyrics, the literature, the music. When it relates to the literature and the music, they have to the ear listens to the bowl, the sound, the word, interprets it into dance language, and then shows it, applies it. So in that also the nervous system is involved. Then the oxygen transport capacity. The brain is full of nerve cells, brain cells. The brain cells are awake only when it is supplied with oxygen. There was an experiment that we did. We first measured the IQ of students who were not learning any classical dance. Then after that, when you put them through a course of training, like 2-3 years of classical dance, then their IQ improved. Why? So this is based on an experiment that was done in America also. That is, they did a thing called circuit training. Circuit training means a sequence of movements that is done one after the other. First you do this movement, you jump, then you hop, then you sit, then you run, then you jump on the spot. Like different types of movements are done in a sequence, and then they come back to the movement number one. So this type of a circuit training, when you do, it improves the oxygen transport capacity to the brain. Indian classical dance movements, whether it is Kathak, Odissi, Kuchipudi, or Bharatanatyam, consists of a sequence of movements. That sequence has to be remembered in that particular order, in a particular rhythm, like ta, te yum ta, tam, kita taka ta, te yum ta, tam, kita taka dalam kutum, tadingina tum, tam, de, tam. So this is an order. So first the neck is moved 8 times, then the eye is moved 6 times. So this order has to be remembered. So in this order, oxygen transport capacity to the brain improves. And in that way, the senile cells or the dormant cells of the brain wake up. And thus, this improves the IQ of the brain. And when such a type of an movement system that is done over a number of years, like Apurva said, 9 years, like so many years, it is a long course. Like where you just to master the steps of any Indian classical dance, it takes 2 years minimum. After that, we start the items in which we put the music and the sequences. So in this type of a long course within and where each training session is about 1.5 to 2 hours, just think how many sequences the child will be doing, enjoying the sequence, of course, and at the same time improving the oxygen transport capacity to the brain. This is a perfect load bearing exercise. Load bearing exercise means the exercise that you perform on the legs, putting the load of the body on the legs, the jumpings, the whirlings, the movement on the heels, the movement on the toes. All these movements are load bearing exercises. That is, you get load on the feet and the leg, the nerves that go from the leg to the brain. It also helps in strengthening the nervous system that goes to the brain. So this is a very, very important because this type of a load bearing exercise, of course, you can say there is running, there is walking, but this is in addition to the other things that other demands that the dance puts on the brain. This is not only the load bearing exercise, but like I told you, the other things that are just I told you before. Then I saw that apart from the brain, what about the internal organs that is not under our direct control, like the heart, the circulatory system? So how does Indian classical dance improve longevity? One more thing that we in our research we found out that as the artist grows older, see, once like Sir just told, the brain has to remain young. The brain and the heart. These are the two organs that have to remain young in order to improve longevity, in order to not grow old with the years, in order to age gracefully, as you say, like you feel 20 when you're 70. So for that, the classical dancers, there is a thirst, there's a fire burning inside. And even a child of 8, 9, 10, they keep on telling me, look what I have done. Look, I have taken this music and I have put it into dance. Look. See, they are having this fire and passion. As you grow older and as you mature as an artist, then you tend to learn new compositions. You don't want to do the old compositions. You take the new compositions. You try to translate the composer's thoughts and feelings into the dance form, and then you learn. Then you go into new languages. Then you try to translate new compositions of new languages into the dance format. So this thirst for learning new, and then finding new things. This is never ending for an artist. They don't stop anywhere, and that keeps the brain young. That keeps the brain whenever you learn new things. Whenever, even I would say that people who are not dancers in their older age years, they should try to learn new things, a new language, a new recipe, a new thing. So that new thing when you learn, but in dance it is an endless journey because there is no end to new things. And one person produces something new, the other artist wants to produce something even better. So, and the audience is, of course, there, which is thirsting for seeing new things. Now, when we come to the heart, the circulatory system, you will be very surprised to know that there is a very special thing about Indian classical dance not found anywhere else. That is the use, because of the use of the angas, upangas, and pratyangas, the minor body parts, the subsidiary body parts, and the major body parts, in totality. So the every single muscle fiber is there is a small capillary that goes through every single muscle fiber, and that capillary is always that muscle is always in a state of vibration when an artist is even when she's performing or she's not performing, because she's in a state of performance, in a state of active mode. The muscle small fibers are always in a state of vibration. That presses on the capillary inside, and the blood is pushed towards the heart, and this helps in venous return. That is, the heart is helped, the heart stays young. In an ordinary person, if the heart has to beat 70 times, 80 times in order to complete the circulation, in an active artist, the heart has to beat hardly 40 times or 45 to 50 times. So they say that the heart of the athlete, that is strongest athlete in the world, uska pulse rate has 35. So the lower the heart rate and the number of times the heart has to pump, the stronger is the heart and the longevity. That is, the heart lives longer. And the person also stays young. So that is a very important part of help that classical dance gives to the heart of a child. And when this becomes a part of your routine of school education, and what all it will not do to the heart. Then even the respiratory system, there is a mechanism that all dancers follow, that all we teach to the children also, that when you perform very long sequences, and you the automatically the breathing is controlled, it is an alternative rest and work mode, so whenever the fast movements are there, the body never stops. Whenever the fast movements are there, we tend to hold our breath, and whenever the slow movements are there, we tend to let go of our breath. That this type of an alternative rest and work mode comes to the heart. So the steady state is attained. That is, we are able to do this type of an aerobic exercise that actually helps the lungs and the heart. So this is a very uh, important part, the breathing control that the artists practice incidentally. They don't know actually that they are practicing that. So these are some of the effects that the body experiences. Like when you say I'll talk about this later, Apurva. I think just I've given an introduction of what the classical dance training does to the body, to the hardware.
Please go ahead, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay. No, I thought that maybe she would like to.
No. These minor technical interruptions are always there because people keep ringing you, people keep telling you. So in between some inputs, they are giving technical. Please go ahead. It is going very interesting. It's going very interesting because you are giving certain facts which I have never known till this age. I mean to say they are so important for all of us to know in education ecosystem. What you have talked about, there are so many new things which are coming on the way.
I've not even touched about the mind.
Please go ahead.
About the hardware, that is the body.
Yes. Yeah. Please go ahead.
A small thing, if you can notice, in all classical dances, including Kathak, Bharatanatyam, the hand is kept like this, either like this or like this, this way. So this angle, see this angle, this is an angle, 103 degrees. This angle is very beneficial for the heart. this hard working. So if you this is a part of treatment also, medical treatment. When the heart is weak, the hand is put in like this, and there is a thing to hold the hand like this. So in classical dance, this position is kept throughout a performance, and the child least knows, or the parents least know, that they are giving a tonic to the heart by keeping the hand in this position, this thing. Another thing, the classical dancers are the only systems in the world that are done barefoot. The beating of the thap, जिसको बोलते हैं thap, the beating of the foot in the different speeds, the different rhythms, the acupressure. So I worked with Dr. Raman Kapoor. He was on the panel of acupressure panel of so many panels, and he's an acupressure specialist. And I learned first acupressure from him for 3 years, and then I asked him, see, we are doing whatever pressure you are applying on the planta of the foot. All classical dancers walking, of course, walking is the most mildest form of acupressure. But when we do classical dance, the beat, the ting taka taka ding taka taka, this type of pressurized acupressure that we do, where we hear the sound. So does it also affect the body in such a way that you can actually call it a preventive medicine? Because we go to the doctor only when we are sick. But suppose this type of an acupressure is done from the beginning, from the childhood, like when the child is 5 years old to onwards. So then he attended some of our sessions and the classes, and then he stood outside the class and listened also. And then he said, it is absolutely true. It is absolutely true that
it works like a preventive medicine.
Yes, it works as a preventive medicine for so many things. But there is a big but also. The but is that the child has to do it regularly. Like there has to be a twice a week, thrice a week classes. There are so many children who take academics as a bahana, as an excuse. They are saying we are having so much assignments, we are missing classes. So not for those children. All the effects of classical dance, they only come to you, they only benefit you when you do it regularly, like in a proper way. So get it right by doing it right. So get it by doing it right is our motto. If you want the benefits, you should suppose this position I told you. So this position should be held. Suppose you hold it like this, or you just hold it loose, and the teachers don't correct the student, or the student doesn't do it properly, then the benefit is not got. Like that, the acupressure effect, if you beat the feet properly, regularly, twice a week if there's a class, or thrice a week there's a class. That's why if it is part of education, then children will not tend to miss. They will not tend to miss, because it's part of the education curriculum, syllabus, classroom sessions, and it will be part of this thing. So in acupressure, not only the foot acupressure, there is the knee also, the knee acupressure. There are so many movements that we do on the knees. So there's a point here called the Su Lan Li point. This point affects the heart, the blood pressure. Low blood pressure. It prevents so many children I hear nowadays say that we are having disease spells because of low blood pressure. Low blood pressure for children. So I had a student who was suffering from low blood pressure, and in her movements I included more of the knee movements, and her blood pressure became normal. So there are so many points that affect the kidney, the points that affect the eyesight. There are so many points that affect stimulate the whole body. So acupressure effect of Indian classical dance has been a big study in my research, and we actually were very much encouraged by the results. So then. If you see the yogic effect, yoga is one of the main topics of today's times, where Narendra Modi ji is also promoting yoga practice. Where yoga is part and parcel of all Indian classical dances. The yoga, what is yoga? Yoga is a type of sadhana where you practice not only the physical asanas.
Sorry for the interruption. Apurva, I'm getting disturbed by these messages. People are watching this program live in America, in Australia, at other places. There is a problem with your YouTube. That's why you are not able to see the program properly. Kindly have the internet checked at your end. Otherwise, this program is going live and people are able to see on YouTube world over. So there is some difficulty with your internet connection. So I would request you kindly don't send message again and again. Otherwise, I get disturbed in between. Sorry. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah.
We were on yoga. We were on yoga.
Yes. So yoga consists of three parts. Yoga consists of one part is your physical asanas. The second part is your breathing techniques, the breathing. The third part is the meditative part. So all the three parts, you'll be surprised to know, are there in the practice of Indian classical dance. Like our great Bharata Muni, who wrote the Shastra, Bharatanatyam Shastra, he says there is no art that is not present in Natya, that is dance and drama, and there is no science that is not present in this. So yoga is part and parcel. How? The postures, if we take, they say in the Shastras, there is a separate chapter for this, 108 Karanas. The Karanas, if there are asanas in yoga, there are Karanas in classical dance. This is practiced by all art forms. So in which by very great balance of the body, the feet and the hands, the body is held in different postures that create, that actually just to hold a posture like this and wait there, the lifting the leg and just staying that. So, and this type of posture holding, showing the different deities or divinities and different postures held by different goddess and gods and goddesses in the temples,
Kanika, ma'am.
translated into Karanas.
I'm very sorry if I can interrupt for 1 second. If you can
Yeah.
log out of your laptop device, then your video will be visible to people on the YouTube, because currently it is catching the device that your voice is coming from, and that is your laptop.
Okay.
तो आप लैपटॉप को बंद कर दो so that आपकी video visible हो जाए, and use the audio from the phone. Yes, now I think everyone will be able to see you.
But technical team told that the video is coming.
Sir, video, she has logged in from 2 devices.
Okay.
So it is picking the one from which the audio is coming. But now if she connects audio to this one, I think there should be no problem.
Okay. Okay. Now audio she can't listen.
Uh,
She has a difficulty with audio now.
No. She'll be fine.
Okay.
Let her just connect audio so that everyone can see her. You are visible. Can you say something?
Yeah, she's
Yes.
connected her audio now.
Yes. Unmute yourself, ma'am.
Just 1 second. 1 second.
Unmute कर लीजिए.
Okay.
Yes.
हो गया?
Yes. Now I
Now
think we are doing everything
it's
from
okay?
one device. Yes, now it's perfect.
You could have told me before.
I was actually saying that on the chat. Anyway.
So,
Mom, please continue.
I was
Yeah.
talking about yoga, the Karanas. So the Karanas, there are 108 Karanas. They are postures that have been deciphered, that have been codified by the great Bharata Muni. Like yoga, they say that by seeing the dance of Shiva, the Karanas of Shiva, Muni Patanjali was inspired to write the Yoga Shastra. So dance came first, then yoga. So when we perform the Karanas and join the Karanas into Angaharas, we get so many beautiful postures. But those postures can be done only when it is a part of the dance framework. It is part of the dance sequence choreography, and the person really enjoys performing the Karanas. because it creates grace and poise and beauty. And of course, a great applauses from the audience when you hold a karna. Where in yoga, we do the different asanas, and I have actually in my work I have compared the karnas like ekapada sthanakam is equal, is just like your vrikshasana, and your padahastasana are there in different padahastasana, trikonasana. All these asanas are, all of them and more are there in Indian classical dance performance, and in
Uh,
that all the
Madam,
same comes as in
Madam,
yoga. The
Madam,
body.
sorry, Madam, sorry for the interruption once again. Very sorry. Uh, the thing is, Aparajita was right, and my technical team was wrong. They could have come directly on the any desk, and they should have switched on your video, or they should have given the inputs to us, because world over, people thought that you are talking without camera. So all the efforts what you have given in initially, your voice has gone world over, but your visual has not gone, because no worries, no worries, no worries.
I think
It
it's
is,
okay because
it is,
even
it
the
is,
knowledge is
it
good.
is, it is the day the compliment has to be given to Aprajita. Sometime your own technical team also gives you misfeed and miss wrong information, because they don't understand and interpret your language correctly. Or they can come on any desk immediately and they can tell, this is the fault, let me rectify. They don't do that. They just stay quietly over there. So thereby it creates a little bit kind of an embarrassment. So I think Aprajita, you need a lot of blessings this morning. You
It's
corrected,
okay.
you corrected technically everything. You corrected technically everything.
Well, I
So
am the technical person of my own NGO, so
no, I'm so very happy, because people take you for ride and they tell you everything is going on fine. It's okay. Everything is okay. And I took it that feedback that maybe that there is something wrong at the internet on the other side, and that's why people are not able to watch. Had you not told to mom to stop the video and to switch on and to go on, we could have gone on same way, and people have
that's
pulled
what
up
I was
this.
messaging that she has logged from two devices. So the
No,
one
that's
with
what.
the video needs to be
Yeah,
pinned.
but
But
this
it's
is the
okay. I think we can continue now.
this is the technical team which is supposed to give you. When people do not do their job properly, this is the mistake.
I
Every part has to be taken
happens
into
sometimes.
consideration so carefully. What is going on? What is missing? She did such a wonderful inputs. All those mudras and everything what she had shown over there, they were remarkable. And I feel so sorry that world has missed it. So I do not know, ma'am. I should apologize. That what do we do about it now, and how
Maybe
to go
she
by?
can give a gist of
Yes,
only the
yes,
visual parts.
yes, and
Only the visual parts she can give some gist
I can just give a gist. So I
yes,
of
can,
the
please.
visual ones.
Let's get back to the mood once again,
yeah.
because I also don't want to get upset,
Uh,
because so much world has missed it. So much world has
It's
missed,
okay.
because
We'll just
I'll
say the
just
things again.
yes,
whatever
because
I
you know what you told on nervous system, then you told about simultaneously respond to various sounds, then you talked about therapeutic movements, oxygen to the brain, sequences to be remembered, longevity you talked about, preventive medicine you talked about, acupressure you talked about, yogic the effects you talked about. I'm just such a valuable you have given. I'm feeling so sorry for the whole thing, that
don't worry, don't worry. I'll just give a gist of
yeah,
the
please, please,
whatever I told.
please,
Uh,
I will reschedule all my other programs. You please go ahead. I want to do justice with this topic. This is something very important, and that's why we all have to remain very active. All of us. It's a teamwork. It's not an individual work. And Aparajita, my special blessings to you this morning. God bless you. Take care. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
so let me just demonstrate to you whatever I told. So the Ang, Upang, and Pratyang are the major and minor and subsidiary body parts that have been written in the Natya Shastra, in order that they're all used totally when we do classical dance. So the legs are the main parts that are used. We're carrying the body. That is, it is a load bearing exercise, I told you, that affects the nervous system. And I told you that it is a muscular trigger, because when we use all the body parts simultaneously and symmetrically, like if just by doing this one movement, I'm folding the finger, I'm moving the arms, I'm moving the neck, I'm moving the head, I'm moving the eyes, I'm moving the body, the waist simultaneously. So this is called simultaneous symmetric movement system. Then there was, I told you, just say, the demand of the brain, the demand of the muscle on the brain. Like we are holding a movement, simple movement, like a 5-year-old can do this. Takadimi, 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 takadimi. When we do, the eyes are eye-hand coordination. This affects the parietal lobe and the of the body, the right and left hemisphere of the brain. Right hemisphere, if I miss this point there, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere are there, two parts. When we do academic studies, we only work with the left hemisphere. And but when we do creative things, then the right hemisphere comes into place. So when we do a student does classical dance, a student, academic student in a school, they learn classical dance, then they start using the right and left hemisphere both. And everything that they do, they even including me, including my daughter, including my students, they start learning their subjects in a very creative way. So they start thinking creatively, they start thinking like that, in that way. Then I was talking about now the classical dance is the only system in the world in which the flat beating of the flat foot is the beating of the bare feet beating, in which we are in the different ways. Now if you, the toe, the heel, the side, the full, like this different ways the feet are used, in which the different acupressure points, zones of the feet are stimulated, are pressed, just like a doctor. Like I told you, Dr. Aman Kapoor was working with me, and the different pressure points that are pressed during the session of acupressure, the same points are pressed in the this thing. So this acts as a preventive medicine. It is a preventive medicine, because the child are mainly the thing that is lacking nowadays, immunity. So immunity towards diseases, immunity towards every single seasonal thing that comes. So the body's immunity is increased when you beat the feet and the acupressure points are pressed. And they are not, you're not going specially for that. It is in the class. But I also told that this has to be done regularly and in the right way. Now I was talking about yoga. When yoga, the principle of yoga is the holding the body straight, the spine should be kept erect. That is also the rule in classical dance. Then the second is the breathing technique. So there is a pranayama is a used in yoga, in which you just sit in a place and you do pranayama. You take a deep breath, hold it, and then you let it out. But usme, there is one small problem, that is the carbon dioxide oxygen, the balance is impaired when you take in oxygen and you're not putting it into use. Whereas in classical dance, there is dynamic deep breathing. Dynamic deep breathing means, I just was telling, when you do the faster movements, you tend to hold the breath. When you do the slower movements, you tend to release the breath. That is, it is done automatically, because like in running, you can't do this in dance. You have to keep your face in a very composed manner. But the fast movements are actually taking a toll on your lungs, and they want the oxygen wants to, a carbon dioxide wants to be released, but you can't release it in an ugly way. So it is done in a very, holding the breath and letting it out in a suitable place, like when you're doing the abhinaya, or when you're doing the slower movements, or when you're holding a posture. You can't let it go like this, because that will look ugly. So beauty and composure is part and parcel. So deep breathing is also there, dynamic, because you're using the extra oxygen that you're taking in, you're using it at the same time, you're letting it, holding it, because we have to wait for a suitable opportunity for letting out the breath, and then we are letting it out through the nose, not through the mouth. So this is a breathing technique that we use in dance, and all children do that. That is why the lungs become very strong. The lungs and the respiratory system, this thing becomes very strong. So up to this, I have discussed what the classical dance does to the body. Now the mind is another big thing that comes.
Oxygen, brain oxygen. You were telling that was very important.
Yeah,
Tell
that is called circuit training. Circuit training. Circuit training means when you learn a circuit sequence of movements, and the sequence of movements are to be remembered in a particular order, and the body is made to do that. So there are two types of exercise. One is a monotonous exercise, like you're cycling.
Hmm.
So in cycling, then you don't remember any sequence. But first of all, when you will learn to cycle, that's all. After that, then it becomes a monotonous activity. Then you can think about anything and cycle. You don't have to think about the movement. Like when you do circuit training, they give you different circuits of 30 movements, 40 movements, and then you have to remember those in a particular sequence and perform. At that time, this type of a movement increases the oxygen transport capacity to the brain,
Ah,
and ultimately improves your IQ.
great.
But this type of a circuit training is not there like that. So, but it is there in Indian classical dance. In Indian classical dance, you have to remember a particular sequence of movements along with your acupressure and all the other things that come into place. This sequence of movements that you have to remember like I was telling, in Alaripu, the smallest item of Bharatanatyam, 396 sequences are there. So if in a 3 minutes, 396 sequences are there, what about the bigger items like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the Varnam, that is 35 to 40 minutes. So just remember how many hundreds of movements must be the child has to remember. And a child of 13 or 12 can easily perform a 1.5 hour performance like that they call a full-fledged performance, the Arangetram. And in this, and just think what it must have been doing to the brain. That is why when I did one of my lecture demonstrations in Bal Bharati school, the principal came and told at the end of the lecture, after listening to madam, I now realize why the cream of my students are incidentally children who are learning some classical dance. I thought it was just a coincidence, but it is not a coincidence. It is a result. So because the Bharati school mein, children who are learning classical dance, they are the cream of their students, the toppers.
One more question, very important. You used the term somewhere creative thinking, because the Honorable Prime Minister nowadays is emphasizing on critical thinking, creative thinking, and all. So somewhere I think you used a word, if I correctly remember, creative.
Yes, creative thinking I used for as the even in the when you grow older, when you in order to manner when the brain learns new, the artist is always creating something new,
Yeah.
because that is the demand, that is the demand of the day, that new things, the old things, people don't want to keep on seeing the old things, they want to learn. Even a child, they want to start creating, they choreograph, they take a work, they take a music, they take a new instrumental and they create. So creative thinking is part and parcel of classical dance, a classical dancer's life. So I think Aprajita is so creative. She is absolutely a very creative person, and I've been watching her from her school days. How creative a person can get as you learn classical dance, and you want to put to the thoughts into a new creation.
That's like a lovely mother. That's like a lovely mother. Yeah.
You can ask Aprajita about that.
Okay.
And
Okay. So thank you very much, ma'am. It was a wonderful input from your side. But my appetite, it was just an appetizer, let me tell you. It is
now
not,
there is
it is
much
not
more to tell, but
the
yeah,
main
after
dish.
some time
Yes,
I'll tell you about that.
yes, yes. Because it is just an appetizer. And what we are going to work on is that today, of course, I'm grateful that Apurva introduced this particular program today, and she brought this program. But I think at a later date, today we are going to do whatever best we can do. But I think I got to take on one more date when I should invite Ministry of Education. I should invite CBSE team. I should invite Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, and I should invite Navodaya Vidyalaya Sangathan, and I should invite 28 school education boards which we have got in our country. They all should come together, and we should do a proper kind of a structuring how basically the classical uh, dance and music can empower every child and teacher in education ecosystem. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I get back to my age group because I'm 20 years old, and I get you now Aprajita Sarma right over here joining us for this program. I may be biological 72, but I'm a young child of 20 years. That's what ma'am told. If you want to be creative, then you got to learn. And that's why when I get up early in the morning, by this time you'll be surprised to know, right from Brahma Muhurta till this moment, I have already watched more than 40 videos on motivation, positivity, more than 40 videos. But 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, every day to become a good orator, good speaker, good anchor, and a good motivator, you got to empower yourself. You got
Yeah.
to yourself every day in the morning, because that is something very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give the demonstration. And we extend a very warm welcome this morning to Aprajita Sarma, because only H is missing. Otherwise, she's from my family, Sharma. Okay, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Namaste. Thank you. I'm very flattered that you think that I'm in my 20s. I'm very flattered. And yeah, but I certainly feel very young and very powerful and very joyful. And it is a result of my training in dance. I completely owe whatever I am today to the training in Indian classical dances. Of course, I did my academics. I'm an economics honors student.
Wow.
And also, yes. And also, I did my schooling, my education. I did everything that a usual child does. The 7 steps, I call it. In Indian society, every child is made to go through the 7 steps.
Wow. Which are those 7 steps? Because I see my daughter in you. Now you tell me, which are those 7 steps?
Well, first you have to go to school, then you have to go to college, then you have to get a job, then you have to get married, then you have to get 2 children, then you have to raise them and get them married, and then you have to, go through old age as you are supposed to. So, so these are the 7 steps of the Indian society.
Okay.
And so what happens? Because ability to dance or the innate, it's already inherent within us. Gods have already put the dancing ability inside each and every one of us. So what happens? Why do only a few of us land at the doors of a dancing school? Why do only few of us come to the dancing school to hone that ability? All of us, as a child, when we hear any rhythm, be it the rhythm of the kitchen or the rhythm of a fasting band, every child gets up to dance. But why do you stop doing it after 30 or 20? Why do you feel ashamed or embarrassed? Why do you feel as if I right now jump 2, 3 times, log kya kahenge? So weren't people there before? So what happens? Why do only some of us want to hone that skill inside us, and why do the rest don't? Well, it is the parents and the teachers and the motivators in your life. If 10 people tell you to stop doing a certain activity, you will stop doing it. But if 10 people tell you to do it every day, encourage you, then you will do it. So we all now know what are the benefits that we get from dance. Our heart is super, our brain is sharp, we are moving around with ecstasy, and have the joy, we have power at 70. But don't you think we should have those people who will allow us? I say allow Because Indian, yeah, I cannot talk about the rest of the world since I belong from my own culture. In our culture, we need to be allowed. We need to have the approval of the society to do a certain thing, to make it important at par with other things in our life, at par with the 7 steps. So if you want to make your passion come at par with the 7 steps of life, then you need a certain motivator, a person who can encourage you, your parents and your teachers, nobody else.
Wow, that's great. Very powerful statement.
As a person, I have been a student myself. So what happens when you're a student, when you are below, when you're in your teens, you've got the power to analyze, you know how to crib about the teachers, you know what is wrong with the education system, you know you're only mugging things and really not understanding them. You know that it's not whatever you're reading or learning might not really come in handy later. You know, learning about stalactites and stalagmites might not really make a really great difference in your future. But you know what will? You know the life skills that you need. Maybe they are not in your curriculum. So what do? Do your parents understand that these set of life skills are missing from the curriculum of my child? And do those parents make sure that that child gets those life skills? Even after spending 8 hours in the school, our children today are not able to gather the life skills needed. In fact, even after spending those 8 hours in the school, they go to a help center to relearn what they were supposed to learn in those 8 hours. Why are those handful of parents who want to lead their child to the doorsteps of a dance school, an art school, a fine art? I consider all arts at par, whether it be fine art or visual art, performing art, a singing art. An art is an art. It boosts the brain. It it powers, like Kanaka ma'am said, it's the battery. So the battery to the bulb are all there. But we just need someone to help us get those batteries. But what are we doing in our spare time? We are relearning what we should have learned in those 8 hours. Are you telling me that whatever was a certain day's curriculum needs more than 12 hours from a child? Are children that stupid? I mean, they can learn. I know it's a derogatory word. I should not have used it. I'm sorry. But I feel when I was a child, my mother enrolled me in the tuitions because everybody was doing that, you know. So we were all going to the tuitions. And I'm not very proud when I say this. I used to bunk the tuitions and I used to go sleep in the park.
She's not listening. Don't
And
worry. She's not listening.
until one day she got a call from those tuition centers. She paid a lot of money because these were the proper coaching centers, the Brilliance, the Akash, and those kinds of things. And and I came home that day, and my mother asked me, "Where were you?" I said, "I was at the tuitions, you know." So, so then she's like, "No, I got a call. You haven't been there since months." I'm like, "Oh." So then I had to say the truth. So what I'm trying to say is that when we are a child, we know what's wrong with the system, and we are trying to jump around through it, loophole through it, and then we say when we grow up, we're not going to let this happen. But when we grow up, we become a part of the same system, inflicting the same thing on the child. Even more so now, as an acharya, I see my children, if I can use the word, suffering because they're at it learning things which I don't know what use they have for it. Yesterday I was having a conversation with my brother who lives in Canada, and he was saying that, you know, life skills are very important, and dance is a life skill. It actually equips you for life. It actually gives you the set of skills that you need to live your life. If Kanaka ma'am has done the research, I'm experiencing the result of that research. I'm able to create, I'm able to think, My world is in completely different colors because everything is, you know, when I look at something, I want to remember it. I have got a huge problem in remembering things. Don't have that ability to memorize so much. And dance helped me so much as a person who cannot remember so much. Dance helped me so much because I could see all my chapters, visually. As a child, when I was learning, because I was learning dance also, I could see all my chapters visually. The text was sahityam to me. I would sing it. I would all my history chapters would be I like presented like a natya in my head. I could see all the characters. Oh, this happened. So dance gives the children that power to imagine everything in a way that probably a child without arts would not be able to do. So why deprive him of that? Why do so many of my students leave dancing? One of my student, and I think it is very relevant what I'm about to say for this discussion today. One of my students left dance saying, "Ma'am, bas is saal ki baat hai. It's only for this year, and then everything will be set." I said, "Oh, you poor girl, who misguided you? It's not this year. There is a next year, and there is a next year." And this girl was in 10th standard. She said, "This year, I have to really do it, and then everything will be okay." I was like, "Who told you this? Why are parents misguiding their children like this? Every year is going to pose a challenge. Are you going to leave everything?"
Wow. Great.
So, so
Great. It's a great message
as a
for all parents. It's a great message.
yes, yes,
Yes.
the being an artist is learning how to manage time. Being an artist is learning how to be calm, how to be true to yourself, how to experience those feelings that are inside you. Because isn't that what we are taught in the dance? To experience, to emote. I'm able to share better, I feel, because I have learned an art, and art helps me to share. Art helps me to put forward so many things that I see are going wrong in the world. That is why my two productions that I have produced two productions so far, and both productions were not, say, traditional. They were on, my first production was with Krishna, that was Seeking Desires. It was on the seven steps. And that's what I was trying to understand, that now it's only for this year, and then you go to the next year, then you say only for this year, then you go to the next year, then you say only for this year, and suddenly you realize my life is gone. I feel it's extremely relevant to put an art form in the school, in the curriculum, so that instead of those handful students going to the doorstep, there would be more. Each and every child will realize how important an art form is to them.
Very good.
And so, okay, so are we saying that the schools are not incorporating art? Are we saying the schools do not have dance teachers or music teachers or painting teachers? My husband works in a school that has employed 7 dance teachers. So, I- but if everybody would have listened previously, what Kanaka ma'am said, get it right by doing it right. I feel what is missing in today's curriculum is the correct way of teaching an art form. Every art form has a way to go about it. You can't give capsules to children. You can't keep on giving capsules to children. Okay, so there is a Ganesh Utsav coming. Okay, so you take 20, 60 people and then you teach something that has neck moving in it and, hand in it. No, you're not doing classical dance. I'm sorry. This is not classical dance. If you want your children to benefit the therapeutic values of Indian classical dances incidentally, then you have to make sure that they learn it properly. There is no point. I will just call it a show.
Aprajita,
Getting yes,
Aprajita, sorry for the interruption because
yes.
one question which is passing through the mind, and there are three WhatsApp on that. now children, when they will be coming after lockdown back to school, colleges, universities, institutions, polytechnic, ITIs and all, when we want to take dance for the wellness, kind of, I don't want to use the word therapy, because the moment you use the word therapy, it gives you a feeling hospital and medical
Wellness.
and all. People
Wellness is a
say, because
Wellness.
my wife always objects and she says, never use a word music therapy. I say, why not? Why not? But we discuss quite a bit in a very positive way. So very important, very important, because I want to bring you now on a international arena. It is not Indian children alone.
Yes.
1.65 billion children world over, they were away from schools, colleges, universities, polytechnics, ITIs, skill centers, and training centers. All of them, they will come back. And when they will
Yes.
come back, they will have a psychological, they will have a psychological, if I'm meeting Aprajita, whether I should maintain 10 feet distance, whether I should fold my hands, or I should not talk, or if she's coughing, immediately I should think about something else. Psychologically, so many things will be going on. So
Yes.
there, the dance and the music, how do you recommend? I don't want to use the word therapy, but I'm from a government school, I'm not from a convent school, so you have to use some other word for wellness part. What exactly has to be given? What is to be done for wellness? How do we relate dance with wellness? I want to relate now dance with wellness with United Nations on the global level with UNESCO.
Definitely. So, like I was saying, if if there is a research, then there is a result.
Yeah.
I did not have any major problem in my life. Then why did I need the dance therapy?
Hmm.
Like she said, dancing is something that gives you wellness, if you want to call it, incidentally. I enjoy dancing. That is something that keeps me from my sadness, like you were saying earlier
Hmm.
about the dopamine thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, it is very relevant because one of my dance students once, she told me, I don't want to dance anymore.
Huh.
Why do I not want to dance anymore? I
Huh.
don't feel like even lifting a muscle.
Huh.
So, get it right by doing it right is very important because
Huh.
when a dancer loses practice, then that dancer, you have already achieved a, a bliss, a kind of a level of satisfaction of nirvana till here.
Hmm. Hmm.
By dancing so many years, you are now here.
Hmm.
So this does not please you anymore. Now you want to stay here, you know.
Yes. Yes.
But when you are out of practice, when you're not able to do because of lockdown or whatever it may be, an
Huh.
injury perhaps,
Huh.
so then the level reduces. And every time you try to do it to that level, you're not able to achieve it.
Hmm.
But
So I think we must, sorry for interruption, Prasta. If I may interrupt, we must talk about what Sir now told, that the wellness thing that does not just come from what happens to the body. The wellness thing comes from what happens to the mind. So how does classical dance actually affect your mind? So
exactly,
the mind is a very big thing that keeps you going. So there are three things in this. Number one, the first thing that our shastras have told is that there is a single line: yato hasta stato drishti, yato drishti stato manah, yato manah stato bhavo, yato bhavo stato rasa.
Ah, ha, 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 ha.
This is a formula that the shastras have given. So
Aprita,
suppose suppose
mom,
this is
mom is mom.
Sarpashilas
Huh?
Mudra.
Mom is mom. Aprajita, mom is mom.
everything I've learned from here only,
Yes,
nothing of
mom
my
is
own.
mom.
Suppose this is a snake. Suppose this is a hand, and
Huh.
this is supposed to be a snake.
Hmm.
And I am the dancer, and I'm the child. I'm telling the child, you have to show fear, the bhayanakaras. So I'm thinking now with my mind. I'm thinking this is a snake, and then after that I create the bhava. Then seeing my hand, bhava, the audience, they feel the bhai. So this type of a creation of rasa is absolutely motivating for any dancer. So apart from what they're doing with the body, now I tell them, now this is the piece. Now you have to create shringara, you have to create love, you have to create anger, you have to be Narasimha, you have to, you know, tear open Hiranyakaya, and then you have to take his blood and you have to create that bhayan, that roop. And this is a very, very thing, that motivating thing, that then you are, now you are a bhakta. Now you are going to, you go into a trance, you're going to surrender yourself. You do this whole. So I am seeing students, they enjoy doing this. Acting, imitation is a part and parcel of every child's
Uh,
innermost desire.
Guruma, Guruma, this brings back the same point what Aparajita also, because children also to be recognized and appreciated and given a pat. And that is something very important when she told ki Ganesh Utsav is coming. So don't give the piecemeal only for that. If you are really serious about it, then you got to give the whole package. You
The
got to
whole.
give the complete thing.
Why
Don't
it's
prepare only for a
important.
particular day, when
That is why it is important
uh,
that the whole piece, that is what Chaprasta was telling, is in schools they just take 60, 70 children and then they say, so you become the trunk, you become the ear. So
right,
that is not the proper way to learn.
right.
Because I'm telling that there nowadays, that is
Right.
nowadays, now this past so many years, not in our time it was Guru Shishya Parampara. But
Yes,
now it is a proper curriculum. There are so many examination boards like Akhil Bharatiya Gandharva Mahavidyalaya,
yes,
Kheragad University, many Prayag University, they are conducting proper degree courses.
yes.
So, and there are so many teachers who are out from doing these courses, so many degree holders, and so many proper teachers. They are to be in the school system, they are to be told to teach the art in the same way that it will be taught if the child were to come to that institute. It has to have a curriculum, a syllabus. So I have in my research, first preliminary research, I have taken Laban's technique, and from the pre-nursery stage, that is age 3, to the age of 16, the 12th class, I have designed a course. The course theory, practical for all the years of the school,
Hmm.
all the school going, all the 12 years of the school going stage, what, and using proper terms, elevation, proper terms, ki, that can, that these proper terms will apply to any classical dance form. So
Hmm.
if it is Odisha, then this syllabus can go for Odissi. If this it is Bharatnatyam, Tamil Nadu, it can go for Bharatnatyam. So the syllabus is there. There is no problem. But the thing has to be taught properly.
Hmm.
Another very important thing I would like to just bring to light is I did work in my second part of my research when I was given a fellowship by Ministry of Culture. I worked on the neuromaturation delays. Neuromaturation delays is a very important thing that is happening to children. That is a delay. So suppose there is a child of 5, a child of 2, and I tell the child, the 2-year-old child, lift this hand, but don't lift this hand. Then you lift this hand, do this. That child will not be able to do, because that child either will do this or will do this. By
Hmm.
the time the child is 5, this should disappear, and the 5-year-old child should be able to do this.
Hmm.
Suppose that child is not able to do it, that means there is a delay. That is called a neuromaturational delay. Like that, I tell a 2-year-old child, now you hold the thumb with your forefinger, now with your middle finger, now with your ring finger, now with your little finger. The 2-year-old child will not be able to do that. But once the child is 5 or 6, they should be able to do it. If she is not able to do it, that means there is a delay.
Wonderful.
This is called finger agnosia.
Point.
So there are so many, like there are 19 parameters like this, 19 neuromaturational delays that are, parents don't realize. The child looks absolutely normal, but the scoring in the school will be 40%, 45%, 50%. Those, in those children where there is no neuromaturational delay and it is absolutely normal, they will score 80%, 90%, 95%. So the children look normal. In classical dance, incidentally, all the exercises that are, for example, the very first step, Hasta Adavu will be is in Bharatnatyam, Teyyum Tatta, Teyyum Tam, Teyyum Tatta, Teyyum Tam, Teyyum Tatta, Teyyum Tam, Teyyum Tatta. See, when this hand is being opened, this hand is closed.
Hmm.
This is a highly therapeutic movement. I say, when I do this, Te, Hat, Te, Hat, Te. So this hand is opening, this hand is closing. And then this hand is opening, this hand is, when the hand is, I have to look at the hand that is showing Alapadma. Te, Te. This is a highly therapeutic movement.
Wonderful.
Showing all the mudras.
Hmm.
Pataka, Tripataka, Ardhapataka, Kartari Mukha, Mayurakyo, Ardhachandrascha, Ralaha, Shukatundaka, Mushtisha, Shikarayascha, Kapitaha, Kataka Mukha, Suchi, Sandrakala, Padma. All these movements a 5-year-old child, a 6-year-old can say if the problem is not there.
Hmm.
And those who are having a problem, by giving these type of movements, the problem disappears.
Okay. So this is again
Problem,
another way.
I
Okay.
repeat, the problem disappears.
Wonderful.
And they become normal. But
Wonderful.
so these are highly the removal of the neuromaturational delays and conversion of slow learners into ordinary learners and high scorers is one of the main effects that classical dancers have on school going children. Like I told you, the parietal lobe is affected. The space, that is, with our hands, we are creating circles,
Hmm.
we are creating rectangles, we are creating different forms and
Hmm.
patterns in space. That is called spatial perception.
Yes.
Then we have got, like, the child has to visualize, like she is now Yashoda and she is visualizing Krishna.
Hmm. Spatial perceptions. Yes.
This is visual perception.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing a baby. I'm visualizing that baby. I'm going and catching her. Then I'm taking her. Then, so we teach, like, the same body creates 2, 3 characters and the characters react among themselves. This is a very highly interesting thing for children. But this is called visual perception. This also strengthens the parietal lobe.
Wonderful.
That's,
I think we would require another very detailed kind of a thing, and let me plan it out with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Skill Development, and also something is coming to my mind. I don't know how you would relate it, but somewhere Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise also. I would like to involve them also in future. Now you would say what it is, how it can be linked up. When we are talking about startups, when we are talking about stand-ups, when we are talking about self-employment, when we are talking about something, entrepreneurship. So somewhere related to this activity, we have to work it out. And music, we are already working for last 8 years, music for mathematics, music for physics, music for chemistry, music for other subjects. So why can't
music.
why
Music is a part and parcel of dance. You cannot dance without music.
yes? So we will work out. We will work out. We'll have another program, but let me give final 2-3 minutes to Aprajita before I go for my Australia's program. Let me give her 2-3 minutes, and she can. And next time when we do it, we should work out in a way that Aprajita comes with the proper costumes, with a proper performance, and ma'am gives the complete vocal part and everything, and we should work out a combination for the entire different ministries together, because why it should not be integral part of the education. And I hand over to Aprajita.
Yeah, like Kanaka ma'am said, it's imagination and creativity that is very, very important for a person to come out of whatever he was going through. We were talking about lockdown effects. That how when so many people are now going to come from lockdown and quarantine, and they are going to come from an atmosphere where they were confined to the screens. Should they meet the teacher? Should they greet the teacher? Should they touch the feet or not? And but more than that, what is important, because we have opened some of our center for very, very thin amount of students to come. What we are experiencing is that every class, at least one child is having a dizzy spell, a faint spell, or nausea. This wasn't there before. Why are the students fainting and having a puking sensation in the class? Because they have been confined with lack of oxygen in their houses for such a long time that now dance, music, theater, and all kinds of activities that gets them out and gets their lungs pumping is so much more important,
mm,
I feel, than any of the 7 steps.
mm,
Right. Now it is very important for children to breathe. Now it is very important for them to stand up and lug their weight around the room and see what happens to their brain. Their
mm,
brain is so used to lack of oxygen now that now when it gets it, it's kind of fainting, you know. And also, you were talking about the dopamine effect. I want to come to it. Like I was telling an example. So when we dance, so I was also locked down for such a long time and I did not know what to do. And I'm a dancer. I was getting very jittery, even even sad, even going towards a certain kind of withdrawal and depression.
mm,
By God's grace, I've got a terrace. So I thought I'm going to resume my practice now because I cannot wait for whatever this pandemic is to solve. Let it solve itself. I have to solve myself. And I danced for 15 minutes.
mm,
And the amount of adrenaline rush I felt, the amount of this crazy happy feeling that I got, that was so much that I did not know what to do with my happiness. I was so happy. If 15 minutes of dancing can make me so happy, what will an hour of class do to me?
mm,
And I'm sure it does to my students as well. My students who have recently started coming to the classes with all the withdrawal symptoms and the laptop symptoms and the screen symptoms are showing me even more curiosity and happiness than what they were showing me before lockdown.
mm.
That means their body craves for it. The body is craving for arts and creativity, and this is what we should do. I'll just end it by saying that dance, music, all arts, whether it be Indian, Western, or Middle Eastern, wherever it is very important. It is the food for your mind and body, as Kanaka ma'am says. Dance is the food for your brain, for your mind, and for your soul. Don't deprive your body of that. And to the educationists and people who are there in the school curriculums, I would like to say that if you you really want your curriculum in school to make a difference, get it right by doing it right.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
That's it.
Well taken. Thank you very much. Younger generation, always we hold the baton. We give the baton because they are the one, those have to carry it forward. Elderly people, we just give them the best and we always bless them, whatever. So our deepest gratitude, thanks and blessings to you and to your mom. And what is the takeaway today from this particular special session? This was a special session which we have done, and special thanks to Apurva. But at the same time, I'm annoyed also with her because why didn't she bring both of you earlier? Why has she brought so late? So I'm annoyed with her on that. But well, I can still pardon. It's a pleasant annoyance, you know. So what I would like to share, and I would close on this note: let us organize a program for Ministry of Education. Let's bring that awareness, and I need one page note from your side that how dance and music will bring the wellness positivity with the children those are coming after such a long lockdown at their respective residences, because सरकार पेपरों पर चलती है, सरकार कागजों पर चलती है. तो मुझे जो कागज सरकार को रिक्वेस्ट करना होगा, it should be convincing and giving the appropriate, which is otherwise a reality. It is a realistic term what we are talking about. But I got to give them in a perspective. Following would be the benefits if we work out this. Let us start it out. And I'm little selfish. And everybody has a right to be selfish, to be loyal to their soil. Because I come from the armed forces background and I come from Indian Army, and having gone to the Ministry of Tourism, I'm selfish. I do not want Western music. I do not want Western dance. I want Indian, classical, authentic, our own music and our own dance. That's what we would like to bring in. And at the same time, it has to be linked with my culture, my heritage, my ancient values, and my Vedas and my Sanskriti, what I have got. I'm selfish over there. And I think every human being has got a right to be selfish to their own soil. So am I. Or jate jate, being a Fauji, I would like to share देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए सिलसिला ये बाद मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए मैं रहूं या ना रहूं भारत ये रहना चाहिए. That is something, a latest song, Prasunna Joshi during COVID, and that is Manikarnika, and that is the movie where it has been performed, and it is such a touchy song. And as a soldier, it comes right from my heart, because my mother is about 95 now, and our family is musical. At this age, my mother listens only romantic songs, happy songs, no sadness, no sad songs, nothing. They should be far away. They should be buried somewhere else. We belong to a horticulture department where everything is wellness, positivity, dopamine, and everything positive, positive, positive. That is the way we have to work on. And Aprajita, final word from your side before we close the session.
Uh, Thank you so much for calling us with Guruji here to share our thoughts and views. We really believe in what we said today. This is not read from any Google or collected from anywhere. This is our own research and our own experience collected over at least 2 to 3 decades.
Talk about Jhansi Ki Rani wala experience. No.
Yeah, Apurva was with us
Yeah,
in lot of. Apurva has is a first-hand experience of whatever we have done in our lives, and we have already said about the research whatever we wanted to say. Just stay healthy, stay positive, like Dr. Gulshan says. Stay absolutely positive about life, and that is only thing that's going to get us through every possible problems. Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you. Recently, we had Mr. Thomas. I'm forgetting his first name, Mr. Thomas from Kerala, and he came under the Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council, Government of India, for the program, and he listed out 27 areas what music brings. Oh my God. And those 27 areas have been listed. So what I would like to make a request to you and to Guruma, that you should work out in a direction that the dance, when we are talking about, along with our own music, that the dance, what all changes. And I'll tell you, he talked about motor skills. He talked about leadership skills. Like when the music goes on, person stands in front, and so many violins, so many sitar, so many musicians, everybody performs. So it brings leadership quality. It brings team spirit. It brings so many things. So like that, I would request you, Aparajita, that you list out everything in a piece of paper. Let me send to the Government of India. And I think if everything goes fine, within next, give me about 3 weeks time, because next 3 weeks, everything has been lined up world over. And today I have delayed my Australia's program by 13 minutes. So we will go
Please,
ahead.
please
And
continue.
God is very kind. And namaskar and pranam to you, madam. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for giving. And Aprajita, my great blessings to you as a father. I would like to send you all my blessings. And you got to tell me, can we learn dance at the age of 72 also, when I have not learned my whole life? That is also to be
You
taken.
already know how to dance, sir. Like I said, God has sent the ability to dancing already implanted inside every person. I
Yes,
do not
yes,
know single soul, animal, plant, or human who
yes.
cannot dance.
Because
Everybody can.
our president is based out of Thailand, and before him the president was from US, before them from Singapore. So my present president, he is very motivating to me. He's about 68 years old. He says whenever the weather packs packs up outside and I'm not in a position to go for morning walk, I dance in my room with the music full blast. So
Yes,
I want
do
to
it
get an
completely.
inspiration what exactly has to be done. So
Don't restrict yourself. Whatever your heart tells you to do, do.
yeah.
Don't listen to the 7 steps in society. Just do it.
Oh, your mama is listening. Okay, God bless. Thank you. Thank you, Apurva.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your efforts. And God
Thank you,
bless.
sir.
God bless all of us.
Sorry for that
Thank
small
you.
interruption. My
God
mom was
bless.
so excited कि चलो ये भी बता दो.
God
The
bless.
Jhansi Ki Rani thing that
God
the music that you said, Aparajita Didi could dance on that gesture moment. That could be possible.
देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना
I'm
चाहिए.
sorry, what's happening?
He is singing the song of Jhansi Ki Rani.
He's telling
He's
me,
Oh,
expecting you to dance on
he's
this.
telling me, no, no, no.
maybe
He's just
another
telling me
day.
to
I
give
will
that,
Maybe another day.
certainly,
Yeah.
I
that,
will
that was,
certainly dance another day. Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
said, he's
yeah.
going to arrange another
Yeah,
session
yeah.
for this. I will
Shankar
give my
Bhakti.
full